Last Thursday, September 27th, the Vanderbilt Programming Board Speakers Committee hosted Amy Walter, political director at ABC, and John Siegenthaler, former journalist and political figure, in the first event of their election series, moderated by Professor John Geer. To start off, Walter and Siegenthaler discussed how the media covers elections, including what might be different about the media's approach in the new age of technology, and a response to the often claimed dumbing down of the news.
I'd have to say that I think our approach to it is very much the same. I think the new technology puts pressures on today's journalists to be almost minute by minute, certainly hour by hour, on top of updating the news. That does anything but dumb down the reader. It really enhances the reader's opportunity to stay abreast.
After a question about the liberal bias in the media based on the recent Media Research Council report that stated that the Romney 47% video received 100 minutes of coverage on broadcast news versus an unearthed Obama video on redistricting that received 6 minutes, Walter responded quite adamantly.
I'm sure most of you have seen that 47% video, right? Which was taken when? This year.
In May.
Yeah, this year. Then there was a video that came out from 1998 of President Obama in a conference talking about redistribution. Now, for me, again, this one was a much easier call because it was something that a candidate for President of the United States this year said versus something that a guy who was a state senator how many years ago was that? 14 years ago said.
From there, Walter and Siegenthaler moved on to discuss what this election is really about, as well as each candidate's weaknesses.
2012 is an election about disappointment, really fundamentally. And that's what you hear from voters, that they want these debates because they want to see these two men without any of the other stuff. None of the negative ads, none of the spinning, none of the, obfuscating, hiding behind other things. This is, you're literally, as Joe Biden would say, alone, right? They want that so badly, and yet they also know deep down that they're going to be intensely disappointed with what they get. We have so many unanswered questions, and yet neither one is willing to give us specifics. So, look, I think what people are the most disappointed in the question he really hasn't answered, more than the unemployment thing is, you said you were going to Washington to change things, and it's worse than it's ever been. Why is it going to be different next year? And he doesn't have an answer to that. Romney has missed that opportunity, right? To say, I'm going to do what he didn't do. All those things he said he was going to do, bringing people together, solving tough problems, that's what I can do.
Both of the panelists pointed out the importance and lack of candor in the candidates running for office in the 2012 election.
John, if you had what you just proposed, a candidate who came in there and told the truth, it would scare his advisors to death.
Oh.
But I do think it would go down awfully well. I mean, the candor is so vagrant in today's politics that I think it would be a refreshing response.
It's why John McCain did as well in 2000. Right?
Exactly.
He tells stories and he swears and he does all this stuff, right? He's just John McCain. He has nothing to lose, right?
Walter pointed out a solution to the candor problem, that is, to be yourself, which, she says, is something that Obama did do in 2008.
And his campaign was completely organic because the messenger and the message were the same thing. And so you can't get off message if you are your message.
Finally, Siegenthaler really put power in the reporter's hands and drove home the importance of candor and authenticity.
It's not a question of how they're going to be reported. For the journalists now, it's a question how they're going to be interpreted. And I think that undecided vote may well depend not on reporting, but on interpretation. It's most likely that we're going to come out of this with a sense that the one who is the nearest to hew into the graven line and letting the chips fall, my guess is that's who the next president's going to be.